In this video, we're going to look at how to set up AUTOTHEORY Pro with Pro Tools. Now, if you have a different DAW, you can always come here to the Help section in DAW Configuration Assistant. And you can choose your DAW, and you can choose from any of these DAWs, these DAWs right here. Now, Pro Tools is not listed, so we can just click Skip Setup, or we can just X out of here, and I'll go ahead and show you how to set up AUTOTHEORY Pro with Pro Tools. Now, before we jump in here to the options and set up our preferences, first, you'll need to have a MIDI keyboard connected, or you can actually use a QWERTY keyboard with this as well, believe it or not. You can see right now, well, maybe you can't see, I'll throw in some B-roll there. You can see this is working with my QWERTY keyboard. But what we want to do is set it up so when I press a key on my MIDI keyboard, that it will respond in kind. So the first thing you'll need to do is have a MIDI keyboard. You'll need to have that connected to a MIDI input of, say, your interface of, say, my 11 rack, or my Complete Audio 6, I could do that, or connect the MIDI keyboard directly to the computer with USB, which is my preference, and which is what we have done with our M-Audio Axiom. So we already have our MIDI keyboard plugged in directly to our computer via USB. So after you have connected your MIDI keyboard, go ahead and open up AUTOTHEORY, come up here to Options, let's come here to Preferences. And right here, you'll see your available inputs. Now, if I connected my MIDI keyboard to my 11 rack, the actual MIDI ports using MIDI cables, then I would choose this option here to enable. Now you can enable multiple of these, by the way, but we're just going to focus on just our keyboard. So since I did not use MIDI cables, I plugged it directly into the computer. What I want to enable is this USB Axiom 61. So I'm going to press a key on the keyboard first here, and nothing's happening. Let me go ahead and enable this. Now I press a key on the keyboard. Right there, I'm pressing C, and you see I'm getting the full chord there based on our settings here. So there we go. That part here in AUTOTHEORY is set up. Now we need to go ahead and launch Pro Tools and set this up to work in Pro Tools. So we'll go ahead and launch Pro Tools here, and we leave AUTOTHEORY open. Don't close it. Just go ahead and leave it open. That's absolutely fine. You know, have it open and then launch Pro Tools as we are doing here. All right, here we are in Pro Tools. I went ahead and created a session and created an instrument track here, and we still have AUTOTHEORY open. So let's go ahead and set this up. Now, if I press a key on my MIDI keyboard, you can see it's still working just fine in AUTOTHEORY. So now we have to set this up to work with Pro Tools. How do we do that? Come up here to Setup, come down here to MIDI. We want to come down to MIDI Input Devices. And you can see right here, Pro Tools is recognizing that we have AUTOTHEORY available, but they are not checked. Now, before we check any of these, make sure we come in here and uncheck whatever controller it is that you are using with AUTOTHEORY. Again, we are using this USB Axiom 61. So we don't want that showing up in Pro Tools. We don't want that to be enabled for Pro Tools. So let's go ahead and just untick that. I'm going to untick these two just because I'm not using those either. So we'll just untick all those. And we'll go ahead and tick AUTOTHEORY 1. Now we can do multiples here if we want, but for now, let's just stick to one. Just keep in mind, if you want other channels, just come in here and tick these. In fact, I'll just leave those on right there. Okay, hit all right. And now we should be set up to use AUTOTHEORY with Pro Tools. I should be able to just arm that. Now I'm pressing a key and nothing is happening. Now I can switch over here to the instruments section here and make sure we have AUTOTHEORY chosen. Let's see if I get input there. Not getting input there. Let me see here. We're still sending our MIDI. Okay. Let me load up a plugin real quick here. We'll just grab something simple like, I don't know, say Mini Grand or something. All right, we'll bring this back up. And I'm passing MIDI. There we go. Now we're getting something. So I'm just pressing, let me just press a C. You can see I'm getting a chord. Let me get this out of the way. Very cool. So if I just press, say, C, D, and E. Very cool. Now, this is not a tutorial on how to use AUTOTHEORY and all of the options. I'm just showing you that it does indeed work. So here's our 2 chord. You can see how that changes our melody lock. So now if I want to play from this melody lock section, I can go up an octave or 2. Now, this is not passing audio. And you can see over here, it's on, it's AUTOTHEORY 5. We can change this. I think we enabled 4. Still not passing anything. So let's come up here. And by the way, I popped out our instrument section right here, just so I didn't have to switch back and forth to our instrument section there. So if you're not seeing this, you can just pop this out and choose instrument. And we'll go up here and change this to Auto Theory 2, all channels. And let me go to 2 here. There we go. So now I'm pressing C. Actually, let me go back here. And I'll press C. You see us playing D. I'll just minimize this. I'm playing D now. And you can see that it's following along here. So D, F, A, even though I'm hitting the E. So it makes it very easy to sort of make your arpeggios, your melodies, whatever you want to do. All right, let me change this here to channel 1. So we have both of these on channel 1. And come back over here and change this to all channels. So now, play down here. I'm getting my chord by pressing just one key, by the way. And come up an octave higher. Very easy. And it keeps me in tune. Keeps me in the key, no matter what I play. I mean, that's not the chord I'm actually playing. I'm playing a C chord, a basic C chord, with C, E, and G. And you can see that it's actually playing C, G, and D. And then I just changed R. Just change our chord there. And of course, all that is controlled by all of our options that we have up here. Again, not a tutorial on how to use this, but I just wanted to show you how to set it up with Pro Tools. A really cool program. Maybe we'll test it out with something from Contact real quick here. It'd be a little more interesting with Contact. So let's get rid of that. Okay, so what do you say we choose something? Let me choose something that'd be interesting. I do action strikes. That'd be pretty cool, but that's already set up to use with one note pretty easily. Just kind of use your imagination. It'd be pretty cool with bass, although you really usually want to be playing chords with bass, but it would be cool. We could do vintage keys. Let me do something like, oh, I don't know, say a string ensemble. That would be pretty cool. Let's go for just the string ensemble. We'll throw that in here. Let's just try this out real quick. See how this works and how Auto Theory can really help you sort of create your string phrases very easily without, you don't really have to know music theory. Now, I know quite a bit of music theory, but Auto Theory Pro will definitely help you in the performance aspect to be able to perform complicated phrases, much easier. So I'm not passing, well, let me arm my track. Very cool. Make sure I'm on the right channel. Theory 1, yep. Okay, and again, I'm not going to really go into how this works, but just keep in mind what channels we had set up here in input devices. We have 1 through 4. We could go ahead and enable the rest of these, by the way, and you probably should go ahead and enable all 8, okay, because you'll probably need them. But just keep in mind, you'll have to turn those on if you want to use these other options here. You can see here's channel 1, 2, 3, 4. We can change a bunch of options right here. Let's turn these off here. And over here on the melody section, again, keep in mind you need to set up exactly where the input is coming from, and you have options to turn on all these other channels inside of Auto Theory as well. Now, I only have channel 1 activated going into Contact, as we can see here, and that's coming in right here. All right, so that's more of a discussion of how MIDI works, which we're not really going to get into, but so I'm just playing C, D, and E. Just, you know how easy that is to play instead of having to play the actual chord? Especially if you're trying to record a demo here and you're using one hand. Pretty cool. So let me go down an octave. And by the way, you can see these octaves right here, which we can choose right there. But again, not going into that. That's pressing. I'm just pressing C. I'm getting my chord. So now I'm on the 3 chord. And I can, again, I'm just playing one note at a time here. Of course, it's triggering one note, but it's also keeping me within my boundaries here, say a major chord. Let's go to a minor because I like minor much better. C is fine with me. We can do triads. So let's go for sevenths. Why not? And you can see how this lights up over here as well. So again, I'm pressing C, and it's going to play E flat for me. Just pressing D, it's going to play G for me. So again, I can play chords with just one note. You can see it's playing sevenths. Let me show you the keyboard down here on the contact. You can see. I'm just pressing random notes, and I'm staying right in key. Very cool. I actually ended up changing the articulation there because there's a key switch on this here. Very cool stuff. Okay, I don't want to bore you guys. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, that was just C, D, E, and F, and it plays, F, A flat, C, and E flat for me. Makes it very easy to put together your sequences. And same for, again, pressing one key. If you wanted to play the one chord, the 4 chord, 5 chord, and let's resolve to 1. Really cool stuff. Again, I'm not going to get into how this works in this video. Maybe we'll do that in a different video, but there's tons of options in here in Auto Theory, and it works with Pro Tools, as you can see. And just think of all the ways you could use this within Pro Tools or within your MIDI production. And of course, we're not limited to strings or pianos. I mean, imagine using this with something like, say, Massive, a synth, which we're not going to show because this video is long enough, but you could, of course, use it with synths, Massive. Think of all of the cool synths and effects within Reactor that we could use this with, even with things like drums, which you may not think drums would be ideal for this, but just imagine, being able to program things very easily on certain keys. It may not be a pitch drum, of course, like we think of with like a synth or a piano, but again, that's just an option. I mean, you got to think outside of the box, you know what I'm saying? And Auto Theory integrates well with Pro Tools, as we have shown here. And one thing that, if you're a longtime Pro Tools user and you've used any other DAW, you'll know that a lot of other DAWs have sort of this functionality sort of built in where you can generate chords and melodies and things like that. Pro Tools doesn't have that, at least not at this current time. We're on 12.7 right here in this video. So adding something like Auto Theory can definitely, can really bring it into the next generation of MIDI production. It helps out a lot. I absolutely love this program. It's not even that expensive, which is crazy how inexpensive this program is. You can always go check it out. I think it's autotheory.net. I'll have the link in the description below, but let me just do one last thing here. We'll actually record a little bit here just so you can actually see what notes are recorded. Again, I'm just pressing one key. Okay. I'll just hit record here. I'm just going to press C. You can see that recorded my chord. There's D. My 3 chord, 4 chord. Very cool. Of course, single notes work. And I just pressed C, D, E, and it actually triggered for me C, E flat, and G. Okay. I can go up one more key, B. So very cool stuff. And of course, all that's contingent on what I have set up right here. So if I went to triads, we have chord tones, dynamic scale, relative absolute, arpeggiator, all kinds of stuff. You can see I can hold down the key here. It's just playing it for me and recording right there. I'm just holding down the F key here. It's keeping me right in key. Let me just add a chord. And I was literally just holding down D in the lower octave and F in the higher octave. And all of that was played for me. Okay. Again, not a tutorial of how this works, but I just want you to realize what you can do with it and tons of options up here. Okay, guys, I think we've went on long enough about this really cool program called AUTOTHEORY Pro by Mosaic. Integrates well with Pro Tools, really busts out and breaks out your ability to program MIDI easily, to record MIDI easily here in Pro Tools. Even if you don't know theory, and even if you do know theory, the performance aspect definitely, it really pumps up what Pro Tools is capable of. So go check it out. AUTOTHEORY, I'll have the link to the website in the description below. I bought this from PluginBoutique, or go right over to their website. That is how to set up AUTOTHEORY and a little bit about how to use it here in Pro Tools. And I'll just reiterate one last time: options, preferences. Be sure to enable whatever the input is for your MIDI keyboard in AUTOTHEORY. Come into Pro Tools, set up MIDI input devices, uncheck whatever your keyboard is currently plugged into. You don't want it passing in directly from your keyboard to Pro Tools. Okay, so untick it. In our case, it was the USB Axiom. Then we ticked all of these here. We can go ahead and tick these here too. There we go. You can tick all the ones, all the AUTOTHEORYs, and that's pretty much it. Then just make sure you come in here to your instrument section and that you choose the correct channel that you want to transmit on for AUTOTHEORY. And if you have any problems, you can also come in here and make sure you're transmitting to the correct channel for Contact or Midi Grand or whatever you're using. And again, if you don't have that instrument section, you just use this little drop down and choose instrument. It'll pop out for you there. Same thing over here on our mix window instrument. We can pop that out down here. Okay. All right. So that's how you set it up. That's a little bit on how you use it. Let me go back here. You can see all that data it recorded. Again, all of this was one key. One key. Okay. Pretty cool stuff. That is AUTOTHEORY by Mosaic, used here in Pro Tools. Go check it out.